So welcome again to the Amesbury Monthly Poetry Reading Series. This reading series is a project of the Amesbury Poet Laureate Program. I'm Lisa Usani Phillips, your host and current Amesbury Poet Laureate. My co-host tonight is Amesbury Poet Laureate Emerita Ellie O'Leary. Tonight, we are honored to have poet Jennifer Martelli as our feature. After Jenn reads her work, we'll have a Q&A, a brief one, and then we'll turn off the recording and have our open mic. And thank you to those who have signed up. It's not too late to sign up. You can always drop your name in the chat if you're interested. So feel free to do that at any time. I'm also going to ask, if you haven't already, please mute during Jennifer's reading, if you would. So Jennifer Martelli is the author of Psychic Party Under the Bottle Tree, published this past December by Lily Poetry Review Books. She's also the author of The Queen of Queens, which won the Italian American Studies Association Book Award and was shortlisted for the Massachusetts Book Award, as well as My Tarantella, a finalist for the Housatonic Book Award. Her chapbooks include Dear Justice, All Things Are Born to Change Their Shapes, In the Year of Ferraro, and Afterbird. She has received fellowships from the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts, Monson Arts, and the Massachusetts Cultural Council. Her work has appeared in the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day series, Poetry, Best of the Net Anthology, Braving the Body Anthology, First Daily, Plume, the Tahoma Literary Review, and elsewhere. She is co-poetry editor for MER, MER, Mom Egg Review. Please help me give a warm welcome to Jenn.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you for inviting me to read here. It's really an honor, and I'm doubly glad that it's Zoom. As I was saying, you'll have to forgive my voice. I have a deep voice anyway, but it's usually not this crackling. My husband and I are on day 5 of COVID. We're fine, no fevers, but I'm left with a voice like this. So it should last. I have lots of water and cough drops. So I'm really happy to be reading here tonight. I love all these communities in Massachusetts and New England with these really vibrant poetry communities. You know, we're doing so much with the written word, so it's wonderful to be a part of it. I'm going to start with a few poems from my book right before my latest one, The Queen of Queens. And The Queen of Queens refers not to RuPaul, but to Geraldine Ferraro. She was given that nickname by then Governor Mario Cuomo. She was the 1984 nominee for vice presidency, you know, on the ticket with Walter Mondale, and they were crushed by Ronald Reagan. That was the second presidential primary I could vote in, and I was so proud to vote for her. And she lost Massachusetts. She lost it badly. So this book sort of revolves around that election and also what was going on in this country at the time. While this book was in production, Kamala Harris was nominated to be vice president in 2020. So there's a lot of bittersweetness with all of that. But I think mostly the book deals with, as does my most recent book, just sort of like the disappearing of women, what it feels like sort of to be disregarded. 16 reasons I became a gray pearl. I grew tired of being a grain of irritation in the world's soft palette. Thought I'd be a moon floating in a cloudy afternoon sky. Being asexual, I craved bondage, craved 4 gold prongs to hold me in place on a band for the left ring finger. Needed to backhand someone right on the mouth. Felt silky, felt smooth, felt unsure, so I committed to pescatarianism. Bounced like an idea and got lost. was pried from my hinged jewel casket with a flat shucking knife. Wanted to be shucked, wanted to be shucked so bad. Wanted sisters, wanted to be drilled and strung on a gold chain. Wanted to tink tink against another bead. Wanted to hang around a woman's neck. Wanted to taste her sweat. Wanted to be dropped in a glass of red wine vinegar to see if I was pure enough to dissolve. I wanted to dissolve. So a good part of the thank you of this book takes place in the 80s, which they say if you remember the 80s, you didn't enjoy it. So I don't know how true that is. And when I refer to the year of Ferraro, that means 1984, and that was the year she was on the ticket. Oracular. In the year of Ferraro, I loved my drugs, my runic lewds, loved to dance under those mirror balls, thought I was beautiful, thought I was heard. I carried a skinny mirror back then, wet my gums, shaped my brow, saw the sky, saw an 8-ball moon. I saw the cure. The First Lady loved astrology, loved Chanel. She loved her little body all wrapped in red, a real picker-upper, she said. The cut glass mirror beads on her De La Renta sheath refracted light, all crystal white. She read the stars. She loved her husband's moons, his metal pig, his licorice beans. On a mirror, I wrote my name in powder, deep bellied beneath a nightclub's floor. I heard disco punk feet dance over me beneath the mirror ball. Could you hear me? Whole nights and into the next spent dancing. We loved our drugs. We loved our lewds. We tossed back the runic loons. You are heard, they said. They said, you are beautiful. So that poem was a failed attempt at a villanelle. Someday I shall write a villanelle and it won't be a failed attempt. So, and I'm going to end this book with Honeymoon During the Reagan Administration. Actually, I have to, I'm going to read two more from this book, but I am going to read Honeymoon in the Reagan administration. The reason why I'm reading it is because this is one of two poems I have where I honor my Doc Martens. The other one is in my other book, so I wanted to read this one. Honeymoon During the Reagan Administration. This is a prose poem, so you might not hear the line breaks. 3 Martello towers stood round and abandoned on a dried field within the walls of old Quebec City. There were no wars anymore, no need for garrisons, no need to hide men. My new name meant Hammer too, or Little Hammer. His sister wanted me to share a surname with her, or she felt this was important after a night of cocaine when everything was manic and important. Later, at the Argentinian steakhouse below the sidewalk, where the walls were brick and cool, he and I ate raw meat and potato shoestrings. I wore chunky necklaces, fat fake rubies, glass emeralds, and topaz. My poor body was sore. The clitoris, aroused and exposed, was described once as a tower or a hill made of red mud and spit, housing termites. The cold ground had seeped through my cracked Doc Martens, made my legs ache in tight jeans. You'd think we did it right there on the field on my military coat, the one with shoulder pads, like a tin soldier. One of the biggest criticisms against Geraldine Ferraro was that she kept her maiden name. I hate using that term. She didn't take her husband's last name, John Zaccaro. So I wrote a lot of poems about that. And this poem is a sonnet but it's an American sonnet. Each line has 17 syllables. I learned this from the brilliant Diane Seuss. It's almost like each line is a haiku stretched out that way. It's kind of a great way to sort of handle concepts and images on one line. The title is a quote from Ferraro, and it just happened to have 17 syllables, so I felt that this poem was meant to be. My father was an Italian man, so are my husband and my son, Geraldine Ferraro. Sometimes when my stiff joints pop, women appear and want to talk to me. No matter how carefully I move, these women want to use their tongues. We all know that the dead can't speak, but some can shake rice in a tin sieve. A poet told me the first tambourine was formed in Italian groves, where women danced while cleaning rice, and later where women conjured ghosts. I was ashamed to tell them I swapped my father's name for my husband's, the vowels so round at the end they slipped into my smooth white sockets. No matter how far back I searched, the names were father's names, thick as guns. If I owned a gun, it would have a cool ghost white mother of pearl grip and an exposed silver toned barrel, silver backstrap, slide, and hammer. Its sounds would sound more like air sucked out from small pink lungs or finger snaps. No matter how far back I traveled, Avellino, Salerno, Rome, all I found was a man's silver axe, his hammer, a boy, a blacksmith. No matter how I move now, women pop out of me. They sound like guns. So thank you. My latest book, Psychic Party Under the Bottle Tree, is probably the least political book I'll ever write. So it's more of a, I don't know, an internal journey. Though I will say, all of these poems were written during the first Trump administration, so there's coloration there. The poem I'm going to start with is another American sonnet. I grew up on Revere Beach, and I live in Marblehead now, so the beaches conflate. I write a lot about being on the beach because I spent a lot of time there. Moon jellyfish. Walking the low tide beach at dusk, I stopped short at a dead jellyfish. Pink poison, a tattoo on the nape of a neck, still stinging, hurtful. Further on, another, Uncle Fester's bald scalp, dumb, electrified. Hundreds left strewn all over the mud, clear sandy blobs, half-globe sadnesses. One jellyfish lay like a broken magic 8-ball, too hazy to tell. One had black sand dried into a small V, like the back of a pixie cut, or a soul patch, shaved and groomed, a mound shorn to please, sexy and so plump. One fit into a bra, balanced breasts. One missed the wave, couldn't get home. A heavy-set woman paddled her board towards the little harbor north. Do you see all of these? I yelled. My words echoed off her sunburnt skin. One, a dried purple plum. One had the imprint of a toddler's soft arch. The harbor illuminated with globe lights strung off the yacht club's piers. I realized this was my old drunk nightmare, but I wasn't sure who else knew. The boozy boats moored, bobbing, the woman rowing, hair pulled up and clasped. This next poem begins with a quote by the painter Eva Yuskevich. Is there anything under that layer? This is a book really about fear, about what I fear. And I guess there is some joy in it, but it's also looking at like the nature of sadness, where that comes from. Is there anything under that layer? I fear suffocation and I fear snakes. And once in a movie, I saw a man with a python wrapped around his whole head. He couldn't even scream. That actor, a pale, flaccid man, wry and always amused, died not too long ago. One summer, the previews and teasers ran in a loop for The Mummy Redux. A young princess betrayed by her father was mummified alive, wrapped in cloth and locked in an iron tomb carved with the face of a screaming woman and snakes. A snake can crawl brand new out of its own skin. The father betrayed his daughter because he adhered to his own mythology, like most fathers. I think I fear suffocation because of the weight covering me, stars asphyxiating themselves, colors imploding into jewel tone hues like the diamonds of a hungry snake. One friend insisted I fear snakes because I fear the penis. And another said I fear trains crossing bridges because they look like snakes if I could see them while flying way up where the air is too thin to breathe. I fear suffocation and snakes and bridges and the penis, but mostly I don't want to be disregarded. That's the fear. I'm wrapped in snakeskin and cloth and cold, thick iron. It's heavy, and I'm left. I'm just left. So, the cover of my book, I don't know if you can see it, is a painting by an old master named Jean-Léon Gérôme. And a friend of mine posted this image on Facebook years ago. And I became obsessed with this image because it's this beautiful face and it's a bacchante. It's a woman. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. But she has horns of a ram, and that's the name of the painting, the Bacchante, head of a woman with the horns of a ram. And there was just something so transgressive about it. And if you see the whole painting, they have this beautiful dress on, but there's hair growing out of the back. It's just amazing. And I tried to write poems about it, and most of them were pretty bad. So two poems came out of this, and they were written years apart, which tells you how long it takes me sometimes to write a poem. 1 year after my friend posted a photo of Jean-Léon Gérôme's The Bacchante, head of a woman with the horns of a ram, a woman crawls through a hole behind her medicine cabinet, finds an unused apartment, walls skim smooth, doors hung, shelves for cups, hooks to hang spider plants and lunaria and macrame slings knotted with undyed cotton yarn. She could put a baby grand piano in this living room. She could have 2 living rooms. She posts this discovery to her TikTok, and the video goes viral in a single day. This dream I've had my whole life. In the dream dictionary, the one with the creepy-eyed sun and crescent moons against a blue nighttime sky, it says, dreaming you found that hidden or secret rooms suggest new strengths, new roles. When I wake the next day, I'll sprout thick horns like a ram. They'll curl back into me. Oops. Here's my other Doc Martin ode. I've been wearing these for a long time. Doc Martin's 1460 Wild Botanica. What I want is that 8-eye boot with Goodyear welt lines on the sole. I want the backhand black leather and the overgrown wildflower print and all that pink and green flora and fauna. These boots dig in, webbed all over with datura, poppy, Japanese anemone, poison ivy, foxglove, and then the things that feed and crawl and fly, moth, scorpion, black widow, wasp. I'd switch out the factory laces with green, a corset going up each foot to the ankle. I want the crisscross to show. Sometimes I want to smoke again and feel that hot toxin sting the bony roof of my mouth. But I made a vow to never again buy leather. I'd love not to harm any living thing, though I still eat fat shrimp all curled over as if in pain, the sunny yolk inside a warm brown egg. I'll buy eggs just to paint them. I'll smoke bees out of a hive to make honey and wax to burn down all night. I'll call the meat of a cow flesh just to ruin your meal. Here is the truth of these boots. I want you to think they're pretty. Get close to me. Believe me when I say I'm good. Remember when we thought Dick Cheney was the worst thing in the world? So quaint. I was watching a commercial he made for his daughter, and I'm thinking, what a sweet old guy. How could I not have liked him? Watching a reenactment of Dick Cheney's heart transplant. There is that moment when neither has a heart. The brain dead boy lying on the table with his chest cracked open. The old man with a fist-sized hole who will never know gratitude. The good heart is handed surgeon to surgeon and hovers. So there is that moment, much like when Sisyphus gets his stone to the top of the mountain and stands on the flat land, pushing nothing. He doesn't know what to do with his arms, which won't lower. Much like that moment, just after the last line of cocaine is inhaled, the mirror looked clean, moment of emptiness, and I'd say, I'm okay. I've got everything I'd ever need or want. Even the monotonous rotation of the earth of small moons around outer planets stops, and a window cracks open, letting in a strange thaw in winter. The surgeons plant a purple heart deep in old soil, and it beats and beats and beats. Two more poems. My daughter has an explanation as to why I got all weepy over the Dick Cheney commercial. This poem kind of explains it. Fascism. So now I have Venmo and no use for credit cards. I can't even chop my sadness into powder on the long edge of debt. I lost the milk glass cake dish, the one with the fluted stand, the one shaped like a little woman with a big brim hat. I can't draw out my sadness on its surface. I don't even carry bills to roll into a straw. I don't own straws. I shave with a cartridge, no straight edge razor to slit an eye hole and pull a red satin dress through, all empire waist and bell sleeved. My daughter dances on Instagram. Her red silk camisole, her velvet wine leggings make a single intention, a thick lipstick mouth moving through her tiny Park Slope apartment. She dangles mirrors from her ceiling to make it bigger, balances bowls of water on her table, her bureau drawer, the back of a lavender book to capture more light than she'll ever need. She films through a prism, her iPhone on a tripod, moves to Liz Phair, Bjork on Spotify, songs sung before she was even born. She says that I still shave my legs smooth because of fascism. You don't even know how bad it's pulled you to the right. And then she laughs. And I'll end with my other attempt at Jean-Léon Jarames's painting, Growing Out My Bangs. When I crossed Humphrey Street on my way to the short brick row of shops, bank, dry cleaner, deli, liquor store, everything but a place to buy rope, I passed under the worms dangling from the maples, and for a moment, I didn't feel afraid, jealous, unnoticed, hungry, hot. I heard a siren from blocks over, but couldn't tell which streets, which way, how far, and turned to see my poor old body pooled on the sidewalk like a dress I'd stepped out of and left for next morning to wash. So I figured I was dead, had died minutes ago, but hadn't been told. It's a shame. I'd worn my favorite headband too, the one with plastic horns, thick, pink, and pearlescent, that held fast and shone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen. Everyone, if you could unmute and let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just feel like those were just what we needed in this moment to hear. And I haven't read all the poems yet, but the ones that I've read, you read several of my favorites so far. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I will drop a link to your publications page on your website so that if people want to check that out, buy it, they can do so if they haven't already. But,
Thank you, Lisa.
yeah. So now, while we're all unmuted, or some of us are unmuted, if anyone has any questions for Jenn, feel free to ask them. You can speak up. Oh yeah, thanks, Ellie. And if you want if you want to drop your question in the chat, or actually if you wanted to sign up to read at the open mic, feel free to drop your name in the chat. But you can also ask questions there.
I have a comment.
Sure, Bobby.
Hi, Jennifer. Gosh, I loved them all.
Oh my
I
gosh,
love
thank you.
I like your energy. I like how you just came aboard and you're like, okay, let's go. You read us so many, and I like your voice. I like where you took us. I like you, and I don't know you, but thank you for sharing you with us.
Thank you so much for saying that. I'm laughing. You said I like your voice, and my voice is so cracking tonight. But thank you. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I do. I like what you wrote about. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
It may be fate because of what you wrote about. Your voice is perfect for the poetry that you expressed tonight. You were cutting edge, shall we say.
Thanks.
Good point. Does anyone have another comment or question?
Yeah, I really appreciated how you used your clothing as a identifying marker of yourself. I don't think I've really ever seen a poet do that so much, and it made me really realize how much I identify with how much my clothing is such a statement of me, but I never thought about using it in my poems. And also I think it's very feminine. I think, as a woman, I'm very, maybe I've trained that way, but I've grown up that way, but I'm very, I love my clothing. And
Yeah.
I just loved how you incorporated it into your poems, and it told us so much about you and your values. And so I really appreciated that aspect. So thank you.
Thank you. It's funny you bring that up. Both the Queen of Queens and my book before that, my Tarantella, which dealt with, they were both born from clothes. Like that's all they didn't remain there, but I'm really glad you brought that up because, one dealt with the murder of Kitty Genovese. So it's kind of a heavy topic. And the other one, Geraldine Ferraro and reproductive issues, but both started because I was like just thinking about the clothes and the music of the 60s and then the clothes and the music of the 80s. Which I love, so thank you for hearing that. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Judson, I think you had raised your hand too. Did you
Go
have a
ahead,
question or
Judson.
comment?
Yeah, this is really more of a comment because for a while now I've really admired the way you have been able to speak to the political situation in such a humane way, in such a human way that opens conversation. I'm just thinking about, I know I deal with my own anger so much. And not that there isn't anger too, but I mean, I feel like you modulate that so well. And I'm kind of catching up with you because I've been thinking about this for a while and hearing you read and looking at what you're writing. But it's a wonderful model for all of us who are trying to figure out how to respond to, feeling so suffocated and feeling so much like we're under occupation.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for having that eye on the beat of the moment and being able to articulate it in a way that really makes the humaneness stand out. The Cheney poem is a good example of that too. I really appreciated that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's a tough time. It's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. So I really love, these are two lines from two different poems. So one of them is, I wanted to dissolve. And the other line is, but mostly I don't want to be disregarded.
Yeah.
And I love the range of that, right? Kind of the on both ends. I mean, dissolving can mean just opening one's heart, right? But I like that call to action, those 2 points. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you think of like any, a collection of poetry or like, you bought anybody's body of poetry. I mean, I know for me anyway, that there's a theme, that goes through it. And there are poems that I'm like, that poem could be in this book or that, and I think for me, and this is what's been so hurtful to Judson's point, about these years, especially, I mean, this has been going on forever, was just this whole sort of being voiceless or the danger of just disappearing. I mean, it just, for me anyway, it really speaks to a fear that I have. What if I'm not here? What if I'm just not here? And I think that it really was brought to light, since 2016. I've just been able to articulate it in a way. I'm like, oh, that's the thing that I'm afraid of. So
Yeah.
thanks for putting those 2 lines together. That was really great. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question, comment?
I just have one comment about the lady who was commenting about the clothing. Oscar Wilde said the true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible.
Mm.
I just thought that was perfect.
Yeah. Thank you. I had a question. I noticed that, I mean, not only the the cover image, but there was a note that I happened to see in the back of the book about your ekphrastic group.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of us who either have dabbled in ekphrastic poetry or interested in ekphrastic poetry. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that group. I mean, not to divulge like personal information or anything, but just like, how does it
group? No.
Right. But just like, how does it work? Do you guys like go out and like look at the
No,
stage?
it's all Facebook. I mean, I'm trying to think. I think there's only one, maybe there's 2 people in this group that I've actually met face to face.
Wow.
So a few years ago, a Facebook friend, and not really even somebody I knew very well. I mean, as well as you can really know somebody on Facebook who lives on the other side of the country. Very nice person, wonderful poet. She said, hey, would you be interested in joining this group that we have? It's this ekphrastic group. And the way it works is you know, she's the administrator. So, and I'm in some ways very much a rule follower. I'm very good. Tell me what to do and I will do it. So it's seasonal. It's twice a year. And I think it lasts, how many weeks does it go? Maybe about 2 months. So what's that? 10 weeks or so, about 10 weeks. Every week on Saturday, we get about, I don't know, anywhere from 12 to 16 images, you know, and they can be old masters, you know, they, you know, be the Mona Lisa, you know, to, you know, pretty contemporary art or architecture, and you respond to them or you don't, you know, there's no, it's more of a generative group. And the amount of work, I mean, I was very, you know, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, I don't know. I don't like to do that. You know, my first impulse a lot of times is no, you know, but I have to say, I mean, and I don't use it as, you know, so much describing the work. I mean, that's one way to write an ekphrastic poem, but they're almost like prompts, you know, they're almost like prompts. So the poem that I read, Is There Anything Under That Layer? The artist, Polish artist, she's not alive anymore, Eva Yuskevich, would do these like beautiful oil paintings of these women, but their faces would be wrapped up in scarves or, you know, fruit, or, you know, just like these like bizarre things. And they were beautiful, but they just would not have any faces. And there was something so, oh, I get anxiety even thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Like, how are they breathing? So, yeah. So, and again, some weeks are better than others. I mean, I'm sure everybody, I hope everybody can identify with this. I write a lot of bad poems, you know what I mean? You know,
The
I will
compost
burn
pile.
on my deathbed, you know, so, but you know, if I'm not writing, I'm not writing, you know, so this kind of forces me to write, you know, and
Yeah.
you have to, before you can post anything, you have to comment on like 3, you know, so it really has generated, you know, a small community, which I'm really grateful for. So a huge part of that book was written from that group.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Is it an open group or is it?
It's not, and that's why I
Yeah.
don't like to, because I feel bad. I'm like, it's the greatest
No,
thing
no.
in the world. Can we join now? You know,
No, it just gives
you can
people ideas for if
start
we want
your
to
own.
start your own.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
does it work? And so thank you
But the
for.
woman who runs it, I'm going to say, she runs it very well. You know, it's, you know, these are the rules, you know,
Yeah.
and it works well. So, I mean, it's something that anybody could start, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, you can give feedback, but it's, you know, which is nice, but you can say, I don't really need feedback. This isn't going anywhere right now, or it's too new, but I wanted to get one up there. So,
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering our questions and
Could I
you know,
mention something? I'm sorry.
oh, sure. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, Jessica, I know what you're going to say.
Jessica.
Jenn is involved with I live in Exeter, New Hampshire, and we have an ekphrastic show that's going to be going up in the Art Up Front Street Gallery starting March 19th, and it goes until April 6th. And April 6th will be the reading and kind of reception for that. And it's in conjunction with the Exeter Lit Fest, which I don't know if you've heard of, but come to that as well if you want, because there's a lot of great readers and authors coming to that. So yeah, the show, the closing reception is April 6th at 2:00. So Jenn will be there. I hope to join us to read, and it's going to be a lot of amazing work. So I just had to mention that.
Oh, thank you for doing that. That's we're always looking for events like that. And if it's mentioned on social media, I'm happy to post about it and promote it.
Yeah, we're going to start doing that promotion soon. So
I will say that we have open studios in Amesbury, and I don't have anything concrete planned yet, but it's in November, usually the first, I think it's the first or second weekend in November.
It's the
And
first.
I'd love to do like an ekphrastic event, whether it's a class or, have people write about the art that they're seeing at the studios and then having a reading of it. So I will keep everyone posted on that if you're interested. So, well, thank you, everyone. I think we're going to, I see a new message. Oh, thanks, Jessica, for posting that. So now I'm going to turn off the recording. And for those of you who have mentioned that you'd like to read, I will post, let's see. There we go. Turn off the recording.